There is a mural within the halls of the United States Military Academy that depicts the battles that were decisive in charting the course of Western civilization. In total, 22 battles are depicted, arranged in historical sequence. Those pivotal battles are as follows. 1. Cyrus at Babylon 558 BC. Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon, thus establishing Persia as the dominant Near East power. 2. Miltiades at Marathon 490 BC. The Athenians proved that the Persians were not invincible and that resistance was possible against their vast empire. 3. Alexander the Great at Arbela 331 BC. The Greeks' final victory against the Persians, thus leading to the rise of the Hellenistic period. 4. Nero at Mataurus 207 BC. This Roman victory turned the tide against Hannibal's Italian campaign and marked the beginning of the end for Carthage. 5. Arminius at Teutoburg Forest 9 AD. The Varian disaster led to the end of Roman expansion into northern Europe. 6. Aetius at Chalons 451 AD. The Roman and Germanic coalition halts Attila and his Huns from continuing to ravage northern Europe. 7. Charles Martel at Tours 732 AD. The Franks devastate the Umayyads and stop the advance of the Caliphate into Western Europe. 8. William the Conqueror at Hastings 1066 AD. William of Normandy seizes the throne of England, thus ending Saxon rule there and setting the stage for centuries of conflict with France. 6. Richard Coeur de Lion 1157 through 1199. A fierce and revered military commander, Richard the Lionheart was the pivotal leader of the Third Crusade, who would set the conditions for the later capture of Jerusalem. His wars with France would also continue the rivalry between the two crowns. 10. Jean d'Arc at Orléans 1429 AD. The turning point of the 100 Years' War, the arrival of Jean of Arc would reinvigorate the beleaguered French defenders who would then win the siege. This would lead to the French regaining the initiative in the war. 11. Crécy 1346 AD. This battle established England as a dominant international military power and showcased the English longbow as the premier weapon of the Western European battlefield. 12. Mehmed II at Constantinople 1453 AD. The Ottoman capture of Constantinople finally ended the Roman Empire and solidified the Ottoman Empire as the preeminent rising power in Eastern Europe. 13. Granada and Columbus 1492 AD. The conclusion of the Reconquista, the fall of Granada, marked the extinction of the Moorish kingdoms on Iberia and thus allowed the Spanish crown to turn their eyes outward, launching the age of exploration with the expedition of Columbus. 14. Gustavus at Lutzen 1632. The bloody battle at Lutzen during the 30 Years' War saw both the Catholic and Protestant armies lose significant numbers of men. While the Protestant forces nominally achieved victory over the Imperial Catholics, the death of King Gustavus Adolphus, a key leader in the Protestant alliance, caused the Protestant war effort to lose focus. 15. Marlborough at Blenheim 1704. Blenheim was one of the battles that altered the course of the War of Spanish Succession, which until then was favoring the French and Spanish Bourbons. Although the battle did not win the war, it prevented a potentially devastating loss for the Grand Alliance and shifted the war's momentum, ending French plans of knocking Emperor Leopold out of the war. This victory was not assured and was due to the cunning strategy and tactics of the Duke of Marlborough. 16. Peter the Great at Poltava 1709. The decisive and largest battle of the Great Northern War, a Russian army under the command of Tsar Peter defeated a Swedish army under the command of King Charles XII. The battle put an end to the status of the Swedish Empire as a European great power, as well as its eastbound expansion, and marked the beginning of Russian influence in northern Europe. 17. Horatio Gates at Saratoga 1777. General Gates defeated General Burgoyne, thus stopping New England from being severed from the rest of the colonies. More importantly, the decisive defeat of a British field army proved to the French that the Americans were capable of winning the revolution, thus securing the Franco-American alliance that would then go on to win the war. 18. Frederick the Great, 1712 to 1786. The reign of Frederick the Great, the Soldier King, solidified Prussia as a rising European power and contested the hegemony that the Habsburg Empire previously held over the German peoples. 19. Kellerman at Valmy, 1792. Early in the wars of the French Revolution, the new French government was in almost every way unproven, and thus the small, localized victory at Valmy became a huge psychological victory. The outcome was thoroughly unexpected by contemporary observers, a vindication for the French revolutionaries, and a stunning defeat for the renowned Prussian army. The victory emboldened the newly assembled National Convention to formally declare the end of monarchy in France and to establish the French Republic. Valmy permitted the development of the revolution and all its resultant ripple effects. 20. Wellington and Napoleon at Waterloo, 1816. The culmination of the Napoleonic era saw the ultimate defeat of the emperor at the hands of the Duke of Wellington. While many of the battles of the Napoleonic era, and indeed Napoleon himself, had effects that changed the course of the West, it was Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo that ended the French stranglehold on the European continent and ushered in the age of British dominance. 21. Meade at Gettysburg, 1863. Claiming over 50,000 casualties during the duration of the battle, Gettysburg was the high watermark of the American Civil War in the East. The Confederates under Robert E. Lee retreated and never again threatened to invade the North. While the Civil War would continue to rage on, the Union victory at Gettysburg possibly saved Washington from capture, as well as provided a morale boost when support for the war was waning. 22. Joffre at the Marne, 1914. After a rapid German advance through Belgium and the French countryside, the Franco-British army was in poor shape. It looked as though the Germans would succeed in capturing Paris and ending the war in their planned 40-day offensive. However, the French under Joffre retreated in good order, and after being reinforced, launched a counterattack along the Marne River that pushed the Germans back. The resulting engagements would see both sides end in stalemate and set the stage for the brutal trench warfare of the First World War. This mural was completed in 1936. While a good chronicle of the pivotal battles throughout Western history, due to its age, the mural is lacking any of the decisive battles that took place thereafter. In your opinion, which ones should be added to this hallowed list? Did you disagree with any of the choices made? Let everyone know in the comments. As always, thank you for watching.